Hey, it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farms, and I just took delivery of a new grapple option, and I want to kind of compare it to the other grapples I've got. This is a dedicated grapple from Artillian. They call it the Iron Fist. It's got a really big opening and can close down on smaller material. It's got 2 clamps and slotted bottom on it. This is my other grapple option for the tractor. It's called an grapple. It bolts onto your bucket. When you just want to use the bucket, it swivels out of the way. But then anytime you've got it, you don't have to switch attachments. So for instance, I'm moving some dirt around. I just want to grab one log or whatever. I really like the convenience of having a grapple on my bucket. So this is a skid steer rock grapple. It's got a really long bottom, and it's got these slats all the way across so that you can sift rocks out of the dirt. I thought, man, that'd be a great rock bucket. I kind of had been wanting a rock bucket, but the fact it doesn't have a side right here makes it better for logs, but worse as a rock bucket. Because when you start shaking all this, if you've got a bunch of material in here, you'll see quite a bit of your rocks will shake out the side. So this is the Artillian Rock bucket. And if you look at the bottom of it, and the design and the way the slats are, it looks a lot like the skid steer grapple. And the only difference is that these sides come up a little bit higher. So today, we're gonna put Artillian grapples on it. So this is what our clamp looks like. It looks like the original Artillian grapple. The top of this grapple is a square tubing that fits right in here. You got a backer plate and 4 bolts. Okay, setup was really easy. When I got the first email from Artillian letting me know that they were making a rock bucket with grapples, I wasn't sure what I would think of it. But the more I look at this, the more I think this is just like my skid steer grapple. I can use it as a rock bucket, or I can use it as a grapple. It gives it a lot of versatility. So in a minute, we'll go use it as a rock bucket, but first I wanted to test it as a grapple. If you don't have money for a grapple and a rock bucket, you can only get one or the other. This can kind of serve as both, but how does it do as a grapple? I can already tell you it's got a similar shape to the grapple on the tractor bucket, and that works pretty well for logs and brush. But I'm gonna test it on these logs right here real quick. This first log will be a real good test because that is at my lift capacity on the tractor. I could just barely get it up to the height of the trailer rails. If my trailer was 2 inches taller, I couldn't have used it. So that means that log weighs about 12 or 1,300 pounds. I dug a huge tree stump out of here with the skid steer, and it upturned all these rocks, and I knew I was getting the grapples for this rock bucket. I said, I'm just gonna leave this area a mess until that comes in. Let's see if we can sift some of the rocks out of this dirt. Couple questions that people always want the answer to on a product like this is, what does it cost and how heavy is it? So I'll do my best to try to answer those questions, but keep in mind prices change over time and it could literally be different tomorrow. So this will just be a point of reference. The rock bucket is around $1,500. And there are different prices on the grapples depending on if you buy them with the rock bucket. But if you buy 2 of these grapples with the rock bucket, they're $800 a piece. So that makes the total price of the unit, the way you see it, around $3,100. Now, that's a lot of money, but this is a premium product. And honestly, I think a lot of people seem to underestimate what the average cost of a grapple is. I see a low-end, probably low-quality grapple starting around $2,000, and they can go way, way beyond that, $4,000 or $5,000. So, kind of in that mid-price range. And like I said earlier, if you're comparing this to the cost of getting a grapple and a rock bucket, then you're saving a lot of money because you can't get separate grapple and rock bucket combination for $3,100. Now, in terms of the weight, this unit, the way you see it, weighs 340 pounds. That's a little bit heavier. I think the average grapple might be around 250 pounds. Now, if you're on a tractor with a high lift capacity of like 2,500 pounds, you're probably not going to care too much about that little bit of extra weight. Now, if you have one of the smaller subcompacts that can only lift 800 or 900 pounds, then you might be trying to conserve every ounce. But I think for most of us, this is not going to be too heavy. And of course, you'll need some type of third function hydraulics and a splitter because there are 2 grapples, and all of that is available from Artillian as well. So I didn't spend a whole lot of time working on this. There's still a rock right here, but you can see it does work as a rock bucket. So one thing I just learned from my second time using this rock bucket is don't fill your bucket. If you get a bucket this deep with wet dirt, you're gonna shake that for 10 minutes trying to get the dirt to fall out. But if you just skim a small amount, I had a couple trips where I just took a little bit, and that worked so much better. The dirt just falls right out. So that's a simple little learning thing. The second thing is, I've been on some tractors where when you curl back, just by wiggling the joystick right there, you can get it to go pop, 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 and really jiggle and vibrate. And mine moves really slowly on the curl dump function. And I can only shake it hard enough to get the dirt to fall out by going up and down. And that's just the difference in the tractor. Nothing I can do about it. But man, the more I think about it, the more I think I'm going to love this piece of equipment. I think it would be a perfect trail clearing tool where maybe you've got little sticks and twigs and leaves and stuff all over the place, you can scoop that up and it'll sift out the little stuff and just let that fall through as you're taking it to dump it. But you can also carry big logs. So I think I'm really gonna like this. I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.